A battle over gun control. Alberta wants police to ignore a federal policy. No room at the shelter.
There is definitely an overpopulation issue and rescues are completely full.
A dog abandoned after no one could take her in. And Giving Tuesday.
With the rising price of rent and the rising cost of food, it's hard to make ends meet.
The local groups that are making a difference.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Ian White.
Good afternoon. The federal government will soon be rolling out its gun buyback program for individual firearms owners. Alberta's government calls it an unconstitutional attack on the rights of Albertans, saying it will use all legal means necessary to resist it. Since 2020, more than 2,500 types of assault-style firearms have been banned. Owners have until October 2026 to get rid of those guns or risk criminal charges for illegal possession of a prohibited firearm. There is a federal compensation program for those affected by the ban. Today, the province tabled a motion that instructs municipal police forces and the RCMP to not enforce the federal plan.
This is not about public safety. It will not stop violent criminals and it will not stop illegal guns from being smuggled across our borders. We will oppose any policy that undermines law-abiding firearm owners and does not combat the criminal use of firearms.
Tyler Barrow joins us with more details. And Tyler, it's not just the federal gun rules the province is taking aim at.
No, Ian, today's motion also deals with a homeowner's right to defend their home. Even though it's already recognized in the criminal code, the Premier is urging Crown prosecutors to think twice about charging someone who defends himself against home intruders. Today's motion directs the Attorney General to regularly review directives issued to Alberta Crown Prosecution Services. Now, specifically as it pertains to firearms possession offences and the right of all Albertans to use reasonable force to defend their home. The province believes gun ownership falls exclusively under provincial jurisdiction. A political scientist worries about the precedent that could set.
Basically saying, well, we'll do something different, that we're going to direct, guide Crown prosecutors and the police about which laws that they will enforce and which laws that they won't. Today it's guns. What about tomorrow?
Now, I did reach out to Calgary Police Service and RCMP on if they would take provincial directive. Neither got back to us by our deadline. Now, Ottawa says the Supreme Court of Canada has made it clear the federal government has constitutional authority over firearms regulations. Ian?
Thank you, Tyler. A surprise revelation in the legislature this afternoon about the proposed private surgical facilities for Lethbridge and Red Deer.
I'm pleased to share that the procurements for the Central and South Zone surgical facilities have been cancelled.
The move follows months of pressure about procurement practices and conflicts of interest. Matt Jones says procurement will be transferred to the Health Shared Services Organization. He also says an outside consultant has been hired to set standards for procurement and contracting procedures. A golden retriever abandoned at Okotoks off-leash dog park is highlighting a growing concern about a scarcity of shelter space for people who can no longer care for their pets. Over the weekend, this golden retriever named Raya was left in an off-leash park in Okotoks. She was wearing booties and a winter jacket and had a bag containing her medications to control seizures. The owners attached a note saying they had to abandon the dog as they were leaving the country. She was taken to an emergency veterinarian and eventually sent to the rescue group Pause for Change. That agency says Raya's owners appear to have tried to drop her off at several other agencies before abandoning her in the park.
There is definitely an overpopulation issue and rescues are completely full. And we receive anywhere from 50 to several hundred requests for intake on a weekly basis, and just nobody's got the room to help out.
And as soon as the dog completes her medical clearance, Pause for Change says she will be available for adoption. Calgary City Council will cut some climate funding, but will fund several transit upgrades next year. It comes as the lengthy budget debate continues at City Hall. Jordan Canagan is there with more. So, Jordan, what do the decisions mean today?
Well, Ian, we're still hours and hours away from getting decisions on a budget that was supposed to be decided last week, but we are getting a clearer picture on where some of those cuts and spending will be next year. Transit is one of those areas that sees significant changes. Users will be paying more to take the bus and C-train next year, but millions of dollars in additional spending will also go towards more bus routes and safety help. Council approving a $9 million pilot project to put more security and peace officers at a number of stations from 4 until 8 p.m. They also greenlit an additional $6 million in funding to maximize the amount of buses on roads in 2026. For savings, Council targeted the Climate and Environment Department. They narrowly approved a $9 million cut next year, bringing that planned spending to $29 million. That money would have gone to education and incentive programs to reduce energy consumption.
And what we just heard in there is it's not going to affect anything to do with flood mitigation, pollinators, wildlife, anything of that sort. It's more of funding that was going towards education of Calgarians for small initiatives. I think this is a big win for City Council.
Now, those discussions continue in council chambers behind me, so they're still making some changes to the property tax increase. But at the moment, it currently sits at a jump of about 1.3% for both homes and businesses. But they still have dozens more amendments to go, and that discussion is likely to spill into tomorrow afternoon. Ian?
Jordan, thanks very much. Fire investigators are looking into the cause of a fire in a business on Stephen Avenue this morning. Firefighters responded to a fire in the alley between Stephen Avenue and 9th Avenue Southwest at about 8:50. The flames had spread to the attic of the retail store, and fire crews made sure the fire didn't spread to any neighboring businesses. Additional fire crews responded because of the risk to other buildings downtown. No one was injured. Southeast Calgary Homeowners Association is dealing with a flood at its facility. The fire department was called around 7:30 this morning. Officials say there was extensive flooding throughout the building, and portions of the drop-down ceiling had collapsed. The Mahogany Beach Club is closed until further notice, while cleanup and safety inspections continue. Danielle, we had snow off and on throughout the day. Are we expecting a little bit more tonight?
Yeah, we're not fully done with it, but we're not looking at picking up a lot more snow. Maybe another centimeter in parts of the city is what you can expect before this is all fully said and done. And this could carry up until about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, but it will continue to let up as we go. -4 is the base temperature. Again, our daytime high today was at 5 degrees. That was early this morning, and then we've been cooling throughout the day rather than rising. With the wind chill at this point, it feels closer to -8. So yeah, chilly conditions now and through tomorrow morning. This is your 24-hour forecast brought to you by 5th Avenue Volkswagen. Family owned, community driven. Discover more at 5th Avenue Volkswagen. All right, for tomorrow, off to work, off to school, a wind chill of about -10, so it will be a chilly start to the day, but in the afternoon, it should get up to +1, and that comes with, in Calgary anyway, relatively calm winds. So a nice afternoon expected for us. More details coming up, Ian.
Thanks, Danielle. A local high school student is already doing stem cell research. Just ahead, what she's working on for an international science competition with a rather impressive top prize. And when the need is greatest, Calgarians step up. We'll highlight some of the charitable efforts on Giving Tuesday. Calgary Charities are marking Giving Tuesday by highlighting child hunger, support for vulnerable women, and critical health care initiatives. The Alberta Cancer Foundation launched the Time Store at Chinook Centre, letting visitors symbolically buy time, reflecting what cancer patients value most. Donations support clinical trials and programs that improve care and quality of life. At the same time, Brown Bagging for Calgary's Kids prepared lunches as part of a $1 million campaign to feed children facing food insecurity. And volunteers with the Women in Need Society packed winter gear and hygiene kits for women and families fleeing domestic violence or struggling financially.
One of the greatest barriers in our city right now is simply the cost of living. With the rising price of rent and the rising cost of food, it's hard to make ends meet. So items like winter gear you almost have to sacrifice, do we eat today or do we get winter boots? So those kind of things really matter, and at WINS, that's what we care about and what we strive to make a difference with.
The Calgary Health Foundation is also raising $2.5 million for one of 6 cardiac labs at the Foothills Medical Center. For more information, the Giving Tuesday campaign, go to ctvnewscalgary.ca. Lots and lots of big hearts in this community.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Yep, doing the right thing.
Especially towards the Toy Mountain campaign as well, which we'll talk a little bit more about in just a bit.
Yep.
But you know, it gives you the warm and fuzzies. We need the warm and fuzzies.
We sure do.
When it's cold and snowy, like this lovely live shot here, just outside our studios, I believe. Yep. So the snow is still falling. It's been falling on and off throughout the day. We could pick up about another centimeter in the city before it's all said and done. And it will become more on and off and isolated as we go through these next couple of hours. It's definitely chilly. Now, keep in mind, today our daytime high was 5, and that was early in the morning. So we did get to a high of 5 today. We didn't really feel that because most people were sleeping at that time, and then we've been dropping throughout the day. At this point with the wind chill in Calgary, feels closer to -10. So there's a bite in the air out there if you have to go out, walk the dogs, or if you're just heading out for anything at this point. Closer to the south, so Pincher Creek feels more like -6 with the wind chill, Medicine Hat -11. It was fairly gusty, especially to the south of us. Now, even in Calgary in the afternoon hours, the gusts did pick up and we got up to 56 kilometers per hour. And into the 70s for Pincher Creek and Lethbridge. Now, Pincher Creek and Lethbridge are looking at that same type of gusty weather for tomorrow, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. Medicine Hat should quiet down for tomorrow. And for us here in Calgary, this will quiet down as well to about 20, even 30. So less wind, less snow, because the snow is starting to taper off. Maybe not quite starting, it's still snowing out there, but this is starting to let up in about an hour. You'll notice becoming more isolated, more sporadic, but this could carry on and off right up until about 6:30 tomorrow morning, and then we're pretty much done with it. Then it's just some lingering cloud cover, and we'll get some sunny breaks, especially in the afternoon hours. And we'll get a light wind out of the west, which will be enough to carry us to +1 tomorrow afternoon for our daytime high. Now let's talk about our next snow event. Our next snow event should behave much like this one, so not hugely significant, but certainly picking up anywhere from 1 to 3 centimeters is possible. And this really, we may see a couple flurries Thursday morning, but it's Thursday night into Friday where we're looking at picking up another 1 to 3 centimeters from that next wave that will roll through. So Friday will be mainly cloudy and snowy, just like today. All right, +1 as our high for tomorrow, but again, cold to start with a wind chill of -10 in the morning hours, and chance of flurries right up until about 6:30 in the morning. Then for Thursday, it's quiet, just a small chance of an isolated flurry and a high of 4. By Friday, -4, 1 to 3 centimeters possible from that next wave, and cold air will carry into the weekend. Saturday, a high of -8. All right, today is Giving Tuesday, as we've talked about, and thanks to some very generous supporters of Fear is Not Love, cash donations made today to Toy Mountain will be matched, dollar for dollar, up to $75,000. So far, we've collected 1,380 toys, and the combined value of the cash and toys now sits at over $126,000. Wow. You can make that doubly beneficial today. Cash donations, you can make those at ctvcalgary.ca.
A grade 10 student from William Aberhart High School is one of 30 semifinalists in a global science video competition.
They're limbs, but with lab-grown organoids. But what are they? These miniature organ-like cell cultures mimic the structure and function of human organs.
15-year-old Annie Udofia is one of about 5,000 students from all over the world who submitted a video to the Breakthrough Junior Challenge. The competition was founded in 2015 and encourages students to create imaginative videos on difficult scientific concepts. Annie's topic is organoids. They are lab-cultured versions of human organs created from a patient's own stem cells. The grand prize, $400,000.
I would receive $250,000 to post-secondary, so that would just completely cover the cost of everything. And I would also be able to give a really good thank you to the community that has supported me and embraced me along my journey, specifically my teacher, who has just been absolutely phenomenal in my journey with the Breakthrough Challenge and just in science in general.
You can help Annie win the competition by liking her video on YouTube or Facebook. Voting ends December 9th. We have the YouTube link on our website. Emerging artists are getting a month-long lesson in the practical side of the music business.
Grew up in a time when OF stood for our future. Now I feel that we live in an our future. Your body is
Still to come, a local hip-hop artist on what he's learning and why he chose to settle down in Calgary.
Kids dying for AI, can't unplug from the matrix. Red pills are the new guys to subscribe and follow.
Big banks on Bay Street are reporting their profits this week, and so far it's off to a good start. Joining me is Dave Popowich, Portfolio Manager with the Popowich-Karmali Advisory Group. And Dave, Scotiabank reported some impressive profit figures today.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Good afternoon, Ian. And you're right, Scotia is kicking off the earnings season for the big Canadian banks here with a bit of a bang. 2025, according to Bank of Nova Scotia's CEO, was a year of execution. He said they were focusing as a bank on things that they could control. Now, one of those things that they could control was the amount of staffing and job levels. And they did cut jobs throughout the year, which resulted in a $373 million restructuring charge. Now, that will allow the bank to free up some of that capital, refocus in other areas like technology. Now, the bank has said it is well positioned going forward to take advantage of the renewed focus in energy and in mining in Canada. Their credit loss provisions, Ian, up just slightly, perhaps a bit more than what analysts were looking for, but their adjusted earnings coming in at $1.93 a share, well ahead of the $1.84 that the market was looking for, at least the analyst community, and that allowed the stock to move higher by 2.8% today. And I would dare say dragging the other banks higher with them as well.
And it's Giving Tuesday, and there's a way you can donate shares to benefit charity?
Yeah, it's just a good reminder if you want to combine your philanthropic activity along with perhaps your tax strategy. One of the most effective ways to do that, instead of just gifting pure cash, is gift shares that you have in your portfolio that have embedded capital gains. It's been another strong year. And quite likely you have some gains in that portfolio that if you donate, the charity will be able to trigger the sale of those without incurring capital gains, and you'll get the full tax deduction for the amount of the donation that you make.
Could be a very good thing for a lot of charities out there. Dave, thanks very much.
You bet. Bye, Ian.
Calgary business leaders see plenty of opportunity to grow in the agriculture industry. And that's why they're investing in a new hub at Stampede Park.
And so for us to bring the industry together to look for new solutions, new opportunities, especially as the world keeps growing, you see food insecurities happening. For us, we just think it's a natural fit for us, and now we can actually help our innovators, our local companies start to grow and scale and become more globally competitive.
The Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund will spend up to $2.7 million over the next 5 years on AgSphere. The hub, based at Stampede Park, will bring together companies and organizations in agriculture and food. It's hoped the collaboration will lead to more than 400 jobs. The province is pushing back against the federal government's firearms buyback plan. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. The federal government will soon be rolling out its refund program for individual firearms owners. The province says it will use all legal means necessary to resist it. Coming up at 6, the federal government's reaction to Alberta's pushback, plus the impact the buyback program is already having on one Calgary business. Also ahead, a golden retriever with medical needs has been abandoned at an Okotoks off-leash dog park. Coming up, we'll have an update on how the dog is doing from the person now fostering the pet. Ian.
Thanks, Tara.
To me, we all bros, but to be honest, I came to conquer, I'm here to dethrone whoever thinks that they're king, kinda like Eddie. Music Mamba run marathons, just like Nipsey.
Not only does Kay the Chosen rap about Calgary's King Eddie, he's performing there. He's among 10 artists there tomorrow night to cap off the Entrepreneur West Showcase, a program that helps give emerging artists the skills, knowledge, and resources to thrive in the music industry. And joining me is Kay the Chosen from the National Music Center. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Hey, Ian. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
So how helpful will this program be in advancing your career in music?
I'd say it's been very instrumental already in that we're learning a lot about the general processes that you need as a musician. I think quite often we forget that as artists, we're a business unto ourselves and creative entrepreneurs. And a lot of what we're learning has really helped kind of systemize a lot of the work that I do, as well as introduce me to a lot of different resources and people in the industry that I can continue to work with post the program.
Now, a lot of people might be trying to place your accent. You are originally from Zimbabwe, and you moved to Calgary as an adult. So, of all the places in the world, why Calgary?
That's a great question. Calgary was one of the cities that came up when I was doing my research for university. I knew I wanted to come out to the West, and Canada just was calling to me. But being from Southern Africa, I was looking for sunshine. And with Calgary being the sunniest city, I figured this was probably the place to start off and then kind of explore. But over the years, I've really come to call Calgary home. I love how friendly people are here. And yeah, no, it's just a great place to be.
And Kay the Chosen is among those performing tomorrow night at the King Eddie. To see my extended interview with him, visit ctvnewscalgary.ca. Colder weather on the way by the weekend. Right now in Calgary, still some light snow out there. It's -4. Danielle has all the details just ahead. Danielle, heading into the commercial break, we saw that picture of the traffic all tied up, slippery roads, and it could get a little more slippery tonight with more snow coming.
Yes, a little more snow, maybe another centimeter in the city, and blowing snow at times because it is a little windy, reducing visibility, making the roads even more slick with all this melting and freezing and melting and freezing. So while tomorrow will be warm, you have to always keep in mind in those late night, overnight, and early morning hours, icy patches are definitely the thing at this time of year. Okay, -4 is that current temperature. It feels closer to -10 with the wind chill. Today's high was +5, but that was really early in the morning. The snow will taper off by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and tomorrow afternoon a high of 1.
Thanks, Danielle. A popular country music festival is heading to Alberta. Shabuzi will headline the first Boots and Hearts West Festival in Edmonton. The full lineup is still to come. The country music event has been very popular in Ontario. It runs August 28th and 29th in Edmonton's Ice District. Tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 10. Thank you for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.